All right, what's going on? It's Bobby Skinner talking Giants with your Week 13 New York Giants offensive line report. Going to go through Evan Neal and then John Michael Schmitz in this one. I'll be honest, I think this may be the end of the Evan Neal segments for me because we have a 3-game sample size of 2024. I think it's been bad. This was the worst showing that we've seen out of him. But I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse saying the same things over and over again. So we'll go through some of the technique issues, some of the physical issues. You see plays like that. Now, Micah Parsons is a hell of a player, right? Like he's an amazing player. So, losses are to be expected. But to me, it was just almost every single matchup with Micah Parsons. So let's get into it. First play, we got the one-on-one with Micah Parsons. This is good, though. Start off with a little bit of positive. Or it's not good, but it's not bad, right? But these are the best Evan Neal reps, which is frustrating. So we have first step, second step. This is where we want to be. This is exactly where we want to be. We have our feet in the right place. We got the right body posture. We've got the right proportion to the pass rusher. This is where we want to be. And on that third step, we read and we throw this left hand, jab, stab, and then keep the right hand free, which I like as a technique for Evan Neal because a lot of times players attack that outside hand on him and get him off balance. So this is good. This is how Evan Neal should be playing with who he is right now. But I still would, again, even though this is much better than what we've seen, we're still so far away from good here. Right? We first step, second step. Let's throw that left hand jab while keeping our right hand free. You can keep your feet moving and move with this player. Instead, we open up our hips, our shoulders, and instead of just throwing that left hand jab and then moving your feet and sliding with him, we're turning our whole body, which now we're leaning, right? Now we got to run with this guy instead of just block him. And it gives him a corner to, possibly get after the quarterback. But that's a solid play. Next play here, first the edge. This is the last play of the game. Touchdown for Locke. This is good, right? 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. Keep your feet moving, right? I like this. Is this the best block I've ever seen? No, but I like this. Right? Pass rusher is going to go attack that outside hand, right? He's going to attack this right hand. Take it away from him. Now your hands end up being high, but you live with that and you just keep your feet moving. Locke steps up in the pocket and gets himself a touchdown. And then here's where it's going to start getting bad. And this play is not his worst play of the day. But it's the one that bothers me the most. Because there's other things where it's like, is it physical? Is it what? There's just a better player across from him. We should never be in this posture. Our feet have not left the ground, and look where we are. Does any other offensive lineman or tight end look like this? We're all taking steps. Step. 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 Everybody's first move is a step except for Evan Neal, which is to throw my upper body, to push off both feet, throw my upper body, and now look where we are. Now look where we are. Instead of having quick feet, taking that first step, getting out there, I throw my upper body at him, and now I've lost. I've completely lost at this point. Again, if you're not cut out for the NFL physically or whatever, you bad balance, all that, well, you can do whatever, say whatever you want about Evan Neal. This is bullshit. This is bullshit offensive line play. That should not be happening. We get our quarterback hit because of that. We mess up he's got to try and check the ball down on what's supposed to be a chunk play because of that. And then here you're just going to see him get consistently beat inside by Micah Parsons. One, two. Here we are. Good. Micah Parsons is working inside. We're just so worried about getting to that third step that we're not reading off of the second step. We're 1, 2, and then it's like, we got to get to that third step. Parsons times it up. We should be taking this left foot and planting it down where we're horizontal right here. Instead, We drop it all the way back. Right? And now he's got a path to the quarterback. Right? You want to be lined up with his helmet. Right? You want to be pushing off that right foot and staying with him and mirroring him. He gets a QB hit. Here we're going to get spun around. I mean, let's start from the beginning. Right? Timing up that left-hand stab. Right? Number 97 is not so good. Parsons is. So he times up that left-hand stab. And then what did I talk about before? Where I like the left-hand stab, like the first two steps. We don't need to be turning our entire body for this. So we turn our entire body for this, and then when you get someone as quick and agile as Micah Parsons, this is what you get. You get you running at your own quarterback and becoming a meme on Thanksgiving, a Thanksgiving meme. Now, luckily, it's a half slide protection, so Greg Van Roten's there to save the day on for you. So Law can just get rid of the ball on this third down. I feel for the guy because that's embarrassing. Next play, beat inside. Right? 1, 2. We want to get to that third step. We overset. When defensive players run into each other. Next play, beat inside again. 1, 2. Let's throw the left-hand jab. Let's throw our whole shoulders. We're facing the sideline. We've got no chance to mirror inside. No chance. Let's do it again. Same exact thing. Give up a sack on this one. We throw that left-hand jab. That one-handed punch. We turn our shoulders. He times it up, works, beats us inside. This time he's able to finish for the sack. I mean, it's the same thing. Where it's like, I told you, I like keeping that outside hand free, right? Using that left hand to deliver that first punch, get your hand on him, and then bring the right hand with you. What I don't like is the fact that when we do that, we're turning our whole body towards the sideline. And we're doing it 4 yards past the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage. You want to do that here, turn your body, go for it. Instead, we get beat. And then in the run game. So let's like some decent results here. Again, I hate the footwork, right? Watch everyone else's footwork. Right? Look at Greg Van Roten's feet. Look at JMS's feet. John Runyon's feet. Right? Taking a backward step, the bucket step, drops, or a drop step for Runyon. Watch Evan Neal's left foot. It goes underneath him. It goes underneath him, and that's why he is looking like he's horizontal with the ground, and everyone else has good posture. Now, we're big and strong. We get movement on this. So it works out, right? So you can run duo with him, right? When you're just leaning on a defensive lineman. And then you do like this is like when you see this is good footwork. I know Micah Parsons isn't the biggest, strongest edge, but this is good footwork, right? Pick up that right foot, put it down, keep your base. You're not leaning like crazy. You land your hands. Hey, are your feet a little skinny? Sure, but you get the first 2 steps right with that size and strength, you can do something. Like that's a solid block right there. This isn't Trent Williams ass kicking school, but that's solid. But you also see the balance issues still show up, right? Like Cowboys run this run blitz, they slant Parsons in, pull this linebacker out here. So we have to adjust, and Evan Neal does, right? We want to give Greg Van Roten help on that, help him cross face. And then now we get to go take on this linebacker. But we lose our balance. Right? It's not, I always check. Like, did he get tripped up? No, he's just bad balance. Yeah, does Greg Van Roten get into him? But that's football. We lose our balance, and that linebacker's able to make the play. The run blitz works. Here versus Parsons on this backside of duo. Right? We're trying to do is seal him off from making a play, right? Hinge him off so like the footwork's good, but we just lose our balance. Like, again, do we trip over Van Roten? Yes, but that's because Parsons is controlling our weight. He pulls us in six. So, again, this is unless there's improvements, I think I'm kind of done doing Evan Neal segments. Like, I think he should try and make a move to guard, and I don't think it's going to work. You know, I know everyone likes to cite Mekhi Becton. If you asked me a year ago, can Mekhi Becton work at guard? I would have said yeah. I don't know if I'd say the same for Evan Neal, but at this point, it's worth a shot for him. Next guy we're going to evaluate is DraftKings, because DraftKings, they're bringing you this video. Grab your favorite team's jersey and some snacks and head to the couch for another Sunday of action-packed football and get even closer to the action each Sunday with our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets when you use code WORLD. Staying on the action, use your $150 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry, you can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. So, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code WORLD. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins, that's promo code WORLD only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You'll be glad you did. All right, let's get into JMS. And this was what I think is his worst game of the season, which I don't think he's had like these games where they're great, but he's had above average games. He's had average games that below average games. I thought this was his worst of the season. But I want to start off with this first play because this is something I think the Giants should scrap. So JMS gets accredited with a sack on this, and he gave up 2 actual sacks. And this is a protection, this pop-out protection that the Giants have been running, and they've given up 3 sacks in 3 weeks, right? And I think JMS has been a credit for all 3, when in reality it's not his fault. I think he's being blamed for the other guys on messing up. So it's a protection that the Giants have used with when you have the 2 linebackers mugged up like this, which they talked about a lot on the broadcast. Mike Zimmer loves to do that. So you put the running back up here, and then, Theo's going to get out into route, but he's going to give a little block and release. But you have 6 blockers, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys on the line. So 7 blockers for 7 guys on the line. The thing about the mugged up look is that, guess what? You have to protect against these 2 players, right? You have to protect against these 2 players, and then you have 4 down linemen. So the 4 other, the guards and tackles are going to be occupied with them, which means these 2 are occupied for the linebackers, and there could be a free rusher, right? If they blitz the nickel and stuff, that's, part of the reason why they try to get these free rushers. So what the Giants have been using is this pop-out protection, where if these linebackers drop, right, which they do, right, they drop here, JMS is looking immediately for an inside threat here. An inside threat, right? This gap here. And Tracy here too. Now, I think Tracy's the one who messes this up. So when he sees that Parsons, because he sees Parsons, right? He's not an idiot. He sees Parsons. When he sees Parsons is going to his left shoulder, well, he wants to go and block this free rusher, right? Now, again, Theo's giving a piece on this and getting, supposed to get out into the route or just block this, but stopping this free rusher and popping out in the protection. But I think in reality, Tracy and Runyon messed this up. Tracy or Runyon. But again, he's been accredited with 3 different sacks this year on this. So I think the Giants just need to scrap it. Because when you look at it on this next play, right, same thing, mugged up linebackers, the exact same look, right? This time, JMS is looking out here. Number 6 drops back. This defensive lineman works into his front side A gap. Pick it up. Good. JMS isn't just looking. But the issue is on the last play, teams are sending this, right? They're sending this rusher, which JMS is becoming responsible for, but they're also stunting with these 2 defensive linemen, which is forcing Tracy to make the right block or John Runyon to slide over, and it's just they've given up 3 sacks doing that. But Here's the actual bad part when it comes to JMS is when you get beat by Vita Vea, it's embarrassing, but I understand it. These are bad defensive tackles. And Mozzie Smith is like viewed as a bust for the Dallas Cowboys, and they don't have busts often. And we get our hand, like right here, we're good. This is awesome. Good, right? Runyan's giving us a little help. And Mozzie Smith is able to just keep replacing his hands, be stronger, drive his feet, push you back, and you're not able to rework your hands, slide over, hold up strength-wise, and he's just bullying you back into the quarterback. Now, Locke should still be throwing here. But, like, you can't lose that type of play to Mozzie Smith. I'm sorry. You know? And then I don't even know this guy's name right here. Like, I get he's an outside guy, worked in. Maybe I should know who his name is. You know, he's played a little bit out here on the end, and he's a quick guy. But this is where, like, the lateral quickness issues that you worried about coming out of college show up. All right, we set. All right, he's working back this way. Let's slide our feet. Let's slide our feet. Instead, we're not able to get over and get our helmet in front of his. And he's sacking the quarterback. Like, that's... you just can't live with him losing there. Now, again, there's good plays, right? There is, with JMS and pass protection, there's more good than bad. But the bad can't turn into sacks and quarterback hits, especially when you're playing these type of opponents. You know? Like, yeah, this is a great rep here for JMS. You know? And, like, there's other good reps here. You know, here versus the linebacker Overshown. Right? He's quick. He works laterally. We move with him, put his ass in the dirt. Right? So there's good stuff from JMS, but ultimately at the center position, you just can't give up sacks. Like, you can't really have a good year and give up more than 2 sacks at the center position. It's just the way it works. Here's talking about JMS in the run game, because JMS, I think, has been a positive in the run game for the most part. This is where he's been the most consistently negative, is when they're trying to run wide or outside zone. Is that he's just not able to cross face one, right? Get out here and flip your hips and give your running back something to run off of. But also he gets pushed back at the point of attack. Right? We're starting here. So it's like even if you're not able to cross face, get into this D-line's hip and drive him upfield, and he's getting pushed back. And it really hurts them on wide and outside zone because this is where you want to press and then cut up. You know, get your cutbacks. So instead, like, let's just imagination land. Let's pretend JMS is like right here, you know. Well, then, or even where Eval Neal is, Tracy can press this and then cut off here, right? Like he can cut back off of JMS up here, and then this linebacker's here, so we're cutting. Like you just give Tracy options, right? Or if you flip your hips and get around him, right, and seal him off, well, then Tracy's going to run out here and cut it. Like it's going to be a successful run. Instead, Tracy's kind of left, like I can't run in straight into this blocker, so I'm going to cut back off of it. And then Eval Neal's doing a bad job on the backside of this, and we end up getting a 1-2 yard run. Right, so that's been consistent with JMS since last year. Here is not what has been consistent. Inside zone and duo losing. This is where he's been good. And this is why I think it's his worst game of the year. And it's not just because of 2 sacks. You know, inside zone, we're not worried about athleticism. He's been able to do well. Like, he's gotten good push on these. He's held on his own blocks here. We're not getting pushed, and I know Mozzie Smith is strong. We're not getting any push, right? One, that's not good, and then we're getting shed. We're not, be able to bring any torque and at least keep that guy in his correct gap, and it forces Singletary to cut into this mess. You know, or here on duo, like now get into his hip and move his ass. And he's done that this year. Like they've been able to move these guys. Instead, we're not getting any movement, and now he's just reading. Easy read and react. Go make the tackle. Bad tackle attempt by Singletary. So this is his worst game, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is what JMS is every week. It's not. We've done other JMS segments. There's been some good. There's been some negative. And I like to clear up that pop-out protection a bit. But it hasn't been great. It hasn't been good, which is frustrating for, we're looking for some of these draft picks to become good players, and it's hard to find them, especially in those first two classes. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's go Big Blue.